As a musician who grew up in the States and has been living in France for 4 years, here are some of the differences that I notice between music education in the US and in France. So in the US, I started playing flute in band in 4th grade. And pretty much everybody in my elementary school class tried an instrument, at least for a year, and maybe they dropped off later, but at least they tried. And every year leading up to that, we attended the older kids' band concerts. So, from a very, very young age, I was looking forward to being old enough to play the flute and to be in band. Versus the kids in France have access to a general music class in school with singing and maybe the recorder, but they never really get exposed to playing an instrument unless they're signed up for a conservatory outside of school. And the nice thing about the conservatory system here is that it's relatively affordable, I think a few €100 a year, and you get access to private lessons, music theory classes, and an ensemble, which is much more comprehensive than the US, and also cheaper than in the US, because if you wanted to take private lessons outside of school, it would cost way more than a few €100 a year. But it's really up to the families of the kids to sign them up. So, if you don't come from a musical family or your parents don't really know about the system, you might never get exposed to doing music and playing an instrument. It's also outside of school, so usually it's like Saturdays or after school, and you don't really get to see your friends doing it, so you might not get exposure from your peers as well. You might not think that that's something that you would enjoy. That's not to say that there aren't French kids who take private lessons. I teach a bunch of them. Or to say that, one system is better than the other. It's just really interesting to me that I grew up pretty much expecting that everyone is exposed to playing an instrument and they can decide if it's not for them. And here that's very much not the case. But if you do decide that music is for you, you maybe have access to more resources for less money to be able to do it.